Men, I was just having a conversation with my younger sister. She just came back from the Dominican Republic, and she said to me that she liked that men in Dominican Republic are much more assertive, that when they like you, they let you know. First of all, they're looking at you, and they're looking at you with desire, with lust, with like, I want you. And she really liked that. She said, I enjoyed that. She's like, men in the US, you really have to keep like glancing their way and giving them a ton of validation before they actually approach. Whereas Dominican Republic, you make eye contact with them and boom, that's it. They're coming up to you. That's all that they need. And she really said, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that assertiveness. I enjoyed that confidence. I thought it was sexy. I thought it was hot. So the question is, are men in America not assertive enough because the Me Too movement, the way you pursue, or is there another reason that men are no longer approaching women in the US? What's going on here? Because I do agree with her that in other countries, even myself, when I used to travel to Europe or other places, I would get approached in a much more confident and assertive way, whereas the US, you do have to kind of like glance like at least 10 times at the guy for him to know that you're interested. So why is it that men in the US are not confident enough to approach women? Let's talk about it.
Respectfully, a lot of you men go through is because you chase the wrong women. I know a lot of great women, including my circle of friends, and we don't act like the little dusties y'all be chasing.
Yo, not you using my lingo. So here's the thing. I think two things can be true. I don't think you're lying. You may know a lot of women who don't show you those behaviors that men are beginning to be more vocal and outspoken about. But in my humble opinion, you also have an incomplete viewpoint. Because what I don't think women realize is, these days you reserve the best parts of who you are for everything else, but give men the short end of the stick. The reason you feel like you have friends that you think the world about is because you get the loyal, I'm there for you through anything version. You get the, if you need it and I got it, is yours version. You get the, I know you're wrong, but we're not going to admit it openly or in front of him or them version. Your career and your job gets the punctual on time version. They get the, I have responsibilities here and I want to do them to my best ability version. They get the, my manager or boss can call me out and hold me accountable and I'll be receptive even if I don't like it version. Men don't get that. We get the, you have to prove every step of the way you deserve my good side, my attention, my respect, my loyalty version. We get the, I'll hit you when I feel like it, but you need to make me feel like I'm a priority version. We get the, you don't deserve the benefit of the doubt version. The version that you get as her friend and the version that we get in wanting to be her man are two completely different women. To you, since you see the best and most vulnerable sides of her, she may not be one of them ones, but at the same time, she probably is.
So I was talking to a male friend of mine the other day. He told me that women don't apologize and women can't be held accountable. I began to really think deeply about this idea. And one of the things that came across my mind is in the last 9 months or so of me being in my private practice, I have myself experienced many women, whether they came in as a couple or they came by themselves, they very abruptly discontinued their therapy. And I started to reflect and really think, what was going on here? I noticed that after I had to confront them. I had to bring to their attention something they were doing that wasn't contributing to the health of the relationship. They became very defensive and they stopped coming. And even though the husband would continue to come, he made it very clear that, she won't apologize. She thinks you're wrong. She thinks you're taking my side.
Women are held to no standards of accountability in society right now. Wherever you go, women can say and do whatever they want. Essentially, they're off the hook because they're a woman. I'm married to a woman that says sorry. And I'm telling you right now, when she said sorry to me, like when we were dating, I was like, what? I was so surprised. And she said it over something super minor. Like it didn't even occur to me to be offended. It's like, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm so sorry the way I did that. And I was like, this woman has to be preserved. Just like that real. She has to be studied and she has to be replicated. There are a few that say sorry.
For sure. And I think from my experience and the things that I've seen, a lot of times they're raised by dudes. So dudes are in their lives. The fathers are in their lives.
And not just fathers. It's fathers that don't treat them like a princess. Because that's part of the issue. There's a lot of fathers that indulge this whole princess mindset and never hold their daughters accountable. They get away with all kinds of nonsense and shenanigans. That's what I mean. There's no accountability baked into society for most women. But when you have a good dad who actually is raising his daughters right, and they're respectful to men, they understand how to treat a man, that woman's worth her weight in gold in today's society.
I asked one of my close male friends who's a therapist around, what are the common struggles that men come to therapy with. And he literally said that so many men who are in therapy, oh my God, I have like lipstick all over my mouth. He said that so many men who are in therapy are struggling with feeling this immense amount of pressure around like, what does it mean to be a man? And like that they're underperforming as a man. And then it like really clicked for me where I realized that so many men feel this pressure to be manly and they don't even know what that means. Like the need to make a ton of money, the need to be in a lot of power. Like there's all this unrealistic expectation placed on men that I think is like breaking the male ego and like genuinely becoming the catalyst for this male loneliness epidemic. And women perpetuate this because women can be super entitled and have really unrealistic high standards and expectations. I really do feel for these men because they're so lost. And because they're so lost, they can't show up in a way that women actually need. And it's like this just self-perpetuating like negative cycle.
Only a rich man can afford to marry a woman just for her looks. An average man will marry a woman for comfortability and sustainability, meaning that your looks did not play a part in his decision-making when it came down to choosing you for his wife. At this point, most women should understand that the average man does not marry the woman that he is highly attracted to or the woman that he is actually in love with. They marry what's safe. Average income earning women who will more than likely marry average income earning men do not need to take the advice of rich people when it comes to love and relationships. They go by a completely separate set of rules. See, when you have to budget in life, there are more things that are important than your looks. A man will get with you because you're reliable, because you're consistent, because you're good at financing and running a house and taking care of children, and you're a good cook. It will be a list of things as to why he decided to marry you, but your beauty will not be at the top of that list. So what I'm saying to my young ladies is don't invest a whole lot of money in your looks when you know that you are going to go out here and just marry an average man. It's a waste of an investment. Put that money into something else. Y'all go out here and get all of this surgery done to yourselves just to marry a man who makes $75,000 a year. Not saying that's not a good income, but there are other things that are way more important when you have to budget a lifestyle. Rich women can go out here and get everything done to themselves and no one will judge them for it because their investment is in their looks, because more than likely that man that she's married to married her not so much for her brains, but because she's extremely beautiful and she has to maintain that look for as long as possible. Just saying.
Men here don't necessarily approach you. So I feel like, I don't know if men are shy or like they just don't, have enough.
They think they the
confidence.
They pride. They think they the catch. It's too sassy. It's too sassy for me. That's what it is. Yeah. Why don't men pursue? Why don't they take the initiative? Why don't they take the lead?
Well, first things first, there are some men out here who actually read their word. They know their Bible. Let's start there. But also, why is it that the men who are confident, men who aren't thirsty, who aren't beating down your DMs, who easily walk away from your BS, who walk with their chest up and their head up, men who move like is not their first priority, men who don't indulge in your main character syndrome and makes you the center of his world when y'all cross paths on a random Friday, why do they automatically get branded by women as men who think they're the prize? Men who have character, discipline, moral, self-control, ambition, he goes to great lengths to protect that focus and energy. But even more to the point, he knows he's not like most other men. Because if we're going by girl math, by what you ladies say, there aren't a lot of good men out here. In fact, we religiously hear you ask, where the real men at nowadays? So if good men are rare, and that rare man enters the room not moving like the generic man, what does that make him? It makes him different, special, a rarity. But you won't see that man calling himself the prize. That word only has life because we get called that on social media. And to be honest, it comes off as though our sisters love celebrating confidence, self-awareness. They love celebrating knowing your value and self-assuredness, unless it's being worn by a black man.
And this is, once again, what men are trying to say. There was one woman asking about Me Too, and did it change the way that men are coming up to women, men are approaching, men are pursuing? Yes. I don't know if they have the same Me Too movement or they've had something like that in the DR. Once again, nobody's trying to say that women should accept or be harassed, but maybe you went too far. Is that a possibility? Well, in the DR, these men just look at me with desire and lust. Bingo. I thought you said you didn't want men to look at you with lust. I thought you said that you didn't want men to objectify you. See, what you're in right now is vacation mode. And you know, well, I'm only going to be here for, I don't know, a week. So I'm trying to get it in. When you get home, you turn yourself out of vacation mode. You go out there looking, even if modern women don't like to admit it, but it's something about, you know, you go out of the country, because they say that men do this type of stuff. You go out of the country, you're looking to get loose, you're looking to find somebody, even if they butt ugly, and just go berserk, right? I'm looking to do a little bit out here while I'm out here, and you know, I'm on vacation in every which way possible. This is what y'all are accusing men of, but then y'all go out there and y'all be doing the exact same thing. I'm about to find a man that really wants me in a club. I've been drinking, he's been drinking, he ain't gotta look the best. You know, after a couple of drinks, let's find a hotel, let's go back to his place. The girl is gonna follow me to make sure that nothing happens to me, hopefully, because God forbid something would. And I'm gonna get it in, you know, for the next 5, 6, 7 days that we're here, and I'm gonna go home. When you go home, you go back to a world where you think, and society starts to paint men as terrible. And that's what you're running into.
Has been constant arguments and disagreements in relationships with a Black woman. You can't lead them because their success, quote unquote, ego will not let them be submissive. If I am more hard or not being submissive in a relationship, it's because I don't feel like I can trust you to lead. Like, this is not a safe space for me to be soft and gentle. And I think that's sometimes what men don't want to hear or they don't understand. If somebody's giving you a hard time and they're not submissive, it's probably because they don't feel safe with you.
Can I call BS on that? I think I'm allowed. The inconsistency in statements like that. We'll say things like, we don't feel safe enough to trust him, but you feel safe enough to let him turn you every which way but loose. Unprotected, might I add. You feel safe enough to give this man and a few other men babies, you know, risking your life and everything. You feel safe enough to give this man a key to your home. You feel safe enough to let this man drive your car, babysit your children when you go to work. You even feel safe enough to let this man pay your bills if he chose to do that. But you don't feel safe to let him lead you. Us women, we say we want leadership. We say that all the time. But in reality, we don't want leadership. We want somebody who's already going down the same path as us. And ultimately, that's not having a man who leads. That's women being in control. Can't fully experience leadership if our default is resistance. You really won't be submissive for the right man because in reality, you're just ignoring accountability. When we pick and choose when we're being submissive, the man cannot lead effectively, which puts us in this cycle that the men don't know how to lead. But at the end of the day, women, we don't know how to follow. You see where I'm going? The cycle is repetitive.
The thing everybody likes to say is people have options. Everybody has options. But I want you to try something in real life. Say it out loud in front of the actual human being. Yes, she's one of my options. Watch that whole room freeze over because the word only works at a distance. The second it touches a real person, it just sounds wrong. And that's your first signal about it. Because if a concept cannot survive contact with the situation it describes, it's probably not describing reality. It's describing a model people invented. And people say they have options because they're interested in a lot of people. That's like saying you cook dinner because you open the fridge a lot. Looking at the food is not the same as cooking it.
All right, little bro, you're doing too much. It's not that complex. And this is what happens when people's thoughts are tangential instead of linear and logical. He's conflating a few ideas and also equivocating on the word option to fit his statements, meaning he's just making a logical fallacy and changing the definition of the word option to mean whatever he wants it to mean. Now, the definition of the word option simply means a thing that is or may be chosen. Now, if you're lying or telling the truth, that does not negate the fact that it's still an option. Now, some men value is high enough and they can afford to tell the woman the truth where the woman will not disqualify him. Other men are losers and they got to lie to women in order to maintain that woman to be an option. Women, on the other hand, they got guys in a friend zone for 10 to 20 years and that dude is a dork sitting in friend zone waiting as an option to be her mate. Options is a thing. He's talking as if it's relative and people really ain't got options. No. People got options. Maybe you ain't got no options. There's relationship options. There's options for different people. And if you're a woman, you even got a free dinner date option. Now, I do debate nights every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time where I debunk weird ideologies like this.
A man just sent me this question. Why do women go after taken men in relationships or men that are married? Woo! Because she is insecure, has nothing to offer, has little or no self-esteem, and you're an easy target, my guy. This woman has nothing to offer. She can't possibly compete with all of the women she would have to compete with in order to get a single man to commit to her, especially if he's good looking, successful. He has too many women around him, and that woman is insecure. She can't compete, so she takes herself out of the running altogether and goes after a man she only has to compete with one woman for, his wife. She will find the cracks in that marriage. She will make herself look irresistible, seduce that man so he leaves his wife, and he does. But guess what? He almost always goes back when he finds out she has little to nothing to offer him but insecurity and low self-esteem.
What's the most beautiful thing about a black woman?
The beautiful thing about a black woman is we could advocate for ourselves. We take care of a lot of without a man. We don't need a man for men was mad that we got jobs. Weak ass niggas. If a female think they need a man, you're miserable. I could use my rose and get my nut off. I never needed a man.
A lot of women, they want to convince social media, society that it's the men that hate women. They want to scream to the top of the roof, the men hate women. Clearly, we see nothing but a hatred for all of men's existence. You know, she don't value a man's presence. Obviously, she didn't have a father. So when the women use the, oh, you must hate your mother, and clearly they must hate their fathers. And it's obvious and it's apparent. They get to have this rhetoric and nobody challenges them. And they even come up with excuses as to why she even feels this way. Oh, her father wasn't there. The men in her life wasn't stepping up and this, that. But they never had that same energy for the men and the women that they have dealt with in their life.
I like this. It has never been easier to be a dangerous, respectable, high-value man than right now. And I'm about to prove it to you with the cold, harsh truth. You've been lied to. Dating's impossible. The odds are stacked. Women have endless options and you're invisible. I call on that. The competition that you're terrified of, it barely exists. There are masculine men out there, sure, but for every one man who actually has done the deep work, faced his demons, built his body, sharpened his mind, became a centered, strong, and dangerous man, there are 70 who haven't. 70 to 1. And here's what should light a fire under your ass. Gorgeous women, secure, attractive, sexy, they are out there in huge numbers, scrolling, dating, searching, desperate to find the rare man who is worth it. A man who's calm instead of reactive, strong instead of soft, assertive instead of submissive. A man with real purpose who doesn't need her validation to stand tall at all. That man is so rare that when he enters the room, women feel and go absolutely crazy. So wake up. You're not competing against millions of strong men. You're competing against a tiny handful who actually did the work. The line that you're scared of, the line is short and almost nobody is standing in it. Your only real job is to become that man. Heal what's broken, build what's weak, destroy the excuses holding you back. Then demand it. The demand is massive, guys. The supply is tiny. And the only thing between you and that total advantage is the work that you keep avoiding. So tell me, my dude, what is the one thing that you know you have been putting off?
Women who hate men make the best wives and girlfriends, and I will on that hill.
I've been hearing this particular argument put forth with ever-increasing frequency on social media. A lot of women are out there trying to convince men that they themselves that dislike men the most would make the best partners, when that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Their argument is that they don't seek male validation or male approval. Therefore, if they choose you as a man, then you win the dating lottery. But how much sense does that make? Who really wants to date someone that dislikes every single person of their gender except them? That doesn't really sound like a winning equation. I mean, just think about how often you're going to have to listen to them disparage men. But frankly, it seems like these women are trying to convince men of this because, well, I'm beginning to think that a lot of these women are just lonely.
do men feel like chasing a woman is the right way to go? Do you know what chasing is? Like, what chasing is?
No, tell me.
Chasing is you running up behind someone who is running the away.
Why are you running?
Right. So why the do you think it is okay for you to chase women when we're actually like good on you? That's very much so weird behavior. Stop chasing me. Oh, the men, they just love to chase. They just love to chase. You love to harass? Because that's what you're doing. You're in my DMs every day. You calling my phone, you texting me, you pulling up, or whatever the case may be. Oh, it's the chase, it's the thrill. No, it's weird. Stop chasing me.
Thank you. There was a woman talking about, she said black women don't submit because it, quote, unquote, is not a safe space. Well, I don't feel safe enough. I don't feel comfortable enough. Is that so? And she was like, man, I call BS on that. Thank you. Thank you, because there's a lot of modern women out here sitting up here lying. You submit to that man putting that thing on you. You submit to that man giving you babies. Why you don't submit to nothing else? You submit to that man, like she said, turning you every which way but loose. Every which way but loose. Got your feet over here, got your neck over here, got you all around the house, all around town. Y'all go on vacation, got you everywhere. In the pond, in the ocean, behind the building, everywhere. Got you everywhere. But you don't want to submit. You can't figure out how to submit. That's because y'all like to take things how y'all want to take them. Oh, I like this part about him, but this other part, I don't gotta listen to him. That's optional.
Here is a clear warning sign that you need to stop chasing her. Let's get into it. I know that we can do it. If you needed a sign, here it is. Don't chase her. Do not chase her. Chase your purpose, chase your goals, chase your dream, chase your God. When you chase someone, try to force something with someone, turn off. Guys, read the room. Use your discernment. She is not reciprocating interest. Move on. Take this as your sign. Do not be afraid to walk away. You deserve someone's time. You are worthy. You deserve to be respected. Your time is valuable. You've got to act together. You are someone's blessing, and her not reciprocating interest is your sign that you aren't hers. I don't know who I'm talking to in this video. You deserve for someone to choose you, value you, add to your life. Remember, you'll never be good enough for the wrong person.
I see a lot of women saying that men aren't pursuing them. They're not pursuing them anymore. They don't know what they have to do to get a man to pursue them. But listen, let me tell you something. Dating has changed so much post Me Too era. Men, especially younger generations of men, Gen Z, millennial generations, they are not going to pursue women the same way that they pursued women in the past because they don't want to come off as creepy, weird, whatever. Dating has changed. If you are a woman and you want a man, you are going to have to put some effort in. They're not going to chase you like they used to. Or it's not. Especially if you're dating in the Gen Z millennial range. Like, you're going to have to put some work in if you want a man. They're not going to be calling you, showing up to your house with flowers. That's just creepy now. All right.
This is actually something so frustrating to men because they hold themselves back from approaching women since they've been told time and time again that women don't want to be approached. But then here's these women wondering why men aren't approaching them while they're looking like they are having the worst time ever. Which is so frustrating because it feels like a game and meeting new people is tough enough. Especially when you don't want this to be the thing that's eliminating potentially good partners. I mean, there's already enough crazies out there, which is why I always recommend to men to do a public data check on a trusted website like publicdatacheck.com before pursuing the woman that you're interested in, because it can save you from wasting a lot of your time and effort.
Do women create life or do women carry life?
We do both.
I mean, doesn't it take two people?
It does. However, if you have an island with 12 men and 1 woman, you would have a thriving society. However, if you have 12 women and 1 man, you would only have a limited society and it would not grow on from here on out. For 100 years, you would not have anything.
But don't men create more life since they can get more women pregnant?
No, because if you have 1 man and 12 women, you have a thriving society because women create the life.
Men, I think what you have confused is that as a woman, I don't need you any longer. Like up until the 70s, I needed you to get a credit card. Up until recently, I needed you to have a baby. I don't need you anymore. That's where I think you're getting confused on what we're saying, that it's not 50-50, it's 90-10.
Lord, then I hope you don't ever need a plumber, because 98% of them are men. The food that's on your table every day, 2/3 of the people who grow it are men. Cattle raisers, 91% men. When you go to the store to pick up your organic kale or whatever the heck it is you're into, the people who drive the trucks that supply the store, 84% of them are men. Need a new roof? Somebody to fix your car? The oil that needs to be refined so that you can put gas in the car? All produced almost exclusively by men. The only reason you can sit there and whine about how you don't think the world needs men is because you are clearly oblivious to how the world runs and the critical role that both genders play in it. So from all of the women who aren't insufferable feminist harpies, thank you, men, for all that you do. We see you.
Women are upset that men aren't approaching them in public anymore. There's a new trend going on where women will go put themselves out there, dress up a little more, make themselves seem a little perkier in an attempt to get men to approach them, and the men aren't approaching them, and they're upset about it. Newsflash, ladies, y'all created this problem. Y'all supported the feminist cause that said men should be shamed for approaching women. Y'all created imaginary boyfriends who don't exist to say, I'm not interested. But because you didn't have the balls to say I'm not interested, you said, I have a boyfriend, and made an excuse. And now there's the T app, which is publicly doxing and shaming men for approaching and talking and dating women. So explain to me how you plan on fixing this problem that you created.
Women get to evade consequence. Women get to throw stones and hide their hand and then point the finger at men for everything. Women do not want to be held accountable. See, now this ain't never been me, cause see, I'm ex-military. So this accountability thing, this ain't never been no issue for me. I didn't realize it was really this big of an issue for women. But women do. Throw stones and hide their hand. And they get to evade consequence by blaming it on men.
None of us in here can be considered traditional women. And back then, an average guy could get a traditional woman. And now what does he get? He gets a boss babe, a girl that's been ran through. He gets an ex. He gets a born-again virgin. Like, what do I get? As women, this is what do we get? We still get protection and provisioning.
Are you sure?
And the average salary, but here's the thing: the average salary could cover an apartment. But the thing is, like, women, we want this lifestyle that's not even realistic nowadays. Like, we want men that make more than we do, and we want them to pay all of the bills. But it's like we all have our nails done. We get our hair dyed, we have makeup, we have all of this stuff that costs money because we want this lifestyle. And I've had girls come on my show and I say, would you date an average guy for companionship, but you would have to go down in lifestyle? And they say, no, we're addicted to lifestyle.
Should women submit to men?
No.
Women should not submit to men?
No.
Okay. Are you Christian?
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree with her on those things?
To some extent, I believe like submitting should be 50-50.
And then what do you think?
Literally the same thing that she said.
But you're all Christians?
Yes.
Are you Catholic?
No, just Protestant.
Protestant, Catholic. It's funny because I'm agnostic and I go harder for Christianity than actual Christians do. You don't believe in submission. You don't believe in submission. This is completely incoherent and contradictory to your own worldview that you claim to be a part of, your own perspective. You claim to be Christians. Ephesians 5:22, wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. Now as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Do you believe that the Bible is the inspired word of God?
Yes.
If scripture is God-breathed, then rejecting clear commands is disagreement with God. Do you disagree with God?
No.
Okay, so the scripture that I cited to you before, wives obey your husbands, wives submit yourselves to your husbands, you guys are disagreeing with the scripture. So you're disagreeing with God. Is that tenable as a Christian?
No, it is not.
Who's watching Red Pill content and why? Let's talk about it. Here are some of the types of men who have swallowed the red pill. The frustrated daters. These are men in their late teens to early 30s. These guys have faced repeated rejection and have very little dating experience. Many of them start with self-improvement searches like how to get a girlfriend or how to be more confident, but they're quickly funneled toward red pill channels. The socially isolated. These men have small or shrinking social circles and spend all their time online. Some live with their parents, others are unemployed or working jobs with little social interactions. They may struggle with anxiety, depression, or low self-esteem, making it harder to form or maintain relationships. Red pill spaces offer them a ready-made community, filling the belonging gap but trapping them in an echo chamber. The burned and the bitter. These are men who've been through a painful breakup, divorce, or cheated on. They already carry distrust towards women, so red pill narratives feel like a confirmation of their personal experience. They're often in their mid-30s to 50s. The alpha chasers. These men equate masculinity with dominance, status, and control in relationships. They're drawn in by the red pill promise of alpha male success. They're susceptible to content that encourages dark triad traits like manipulation or aggression. Red pill content feels empowering, but it's a trap. It replaces self-growth with resentment. It convinces you that the problem isn't fixable unless the entire opposite gender changes. And that keeps guys stuck exactly where they started, just angrier. In my next Red Pill video, I'm going to cover the entire ecosystem, including the content creators and the people who follow them. Okay, pay attention. I'm going to teach you not to give a fuck. I'm going to hit this weed, drink some liquor out of Dixie cup.
I just wonder if at some point in time, they come around to say, do men have a space where they can come to complain? Modern women have a space all over TikTok where they complain. There's actually a woman who's an influencer. It's pretty sizable, pretty large influencer. She's got a lot of followers on TikTok and Instagram, to be honest. Pretty sizable following. Sat up there and said, and yes, I will listen to women complain about their husband. I'll do it, and I'll do it gladly, because you're not going to silence us. You're not going to make us be quiet. If we have something to say, we're going to say it. And sitting up there, and it'd be one thing if you were complaining about a man cheating on you, or you complain about a man and he actually cheated on you. You just, I just got a gut feeling and it's actually you cheating. It'd be one thing if the man was actually cheating on you, number one. Number two, it'd be another thing if the man was putting his hands, like, this is actually a bad dude. At that point in time, you actually don't even need to be on social media at that point in time. You probably need to be in a police station somewhere, getting a restraining order, packing up and moving and going somewhere where this guy won't bother you or can't bother you. It's hard to get to you, right? That's where you need to be. Now, after that, if you want to start a community or get online and say, hey man, this is a relationship I was in, watch out for this, watch out for that, and I'm not here to I'm not bitter, I'm not trying to hurt anybody, I'm just trying to let some of the ladies know so they don't make the mistake that I make. No, instead, y'all are talking about, well, he didn't buy me this bag, he didn't buy me this piece of property, and a whole bunch of other foolishness. And men are tired of being treated like that. Men let y'all go in your little space to talk about what y'all want to talk about. But when a man says, okay, let me find a space to talk about what I want to talk about, to complain or whatever it is, the things that I've been going through to get something off my chest, and then I got to go back to work, all of a sudden, it's toxic. All of a sudden, it's all the things, misogyny, the patriarchy, everything is crumbling. All of a sudden, men are terrible.
Are women more privileged than men? Yes, they are, and it's not even close. Women are loved just for existing. They get attention, compliments, protection, free drinks, doors opened for them, etc. And a man, he's invisible until he proves that he can provide, protect, perform, pay, or add value. In other words, earn your spot or disappear. Guess what? A woman can also decide if you become a dad or not. You get zero say. She's pregnant, her body, her choice, my dudes. End of story. Do you want the kid? Doesn't matter. Don't want it? Doesn't matter. 18 years of child support slammed on you without consent, and worse, she cheats. She claims the kid is yours. You raise it for years and discover that it's not yours later. Court, in many places, still force you to pay until 18 years of age. So you're screwed. One day, she wakes up unhappy, files for divorce, no proof needed, and walks with primary custody most of the time, years of child support, and many times a lifetime of alimony plus half of your assets. Oh, and she isn't required to show you that the money is actually helping your kid. It all goes to her. She can also falsely accuse you with zero consequences. She can claim abuse, rape, online to the police and in court. And if it's proven a total lie, she gets a little slap on the wrist. But you lose your job, your reputation, your sanity, and you can spend years in prison even if you're innocent. The system shields her more than the truth. Men are disposable, not women. Draft registration, men only. Most workplace deaths, men. Most homeless, men. Suicide rate 4 times higher, men. The double standards never end. Man hits a woman, monster. Jail. Woman hits a man. What did you do to her? Man cheats? You're trash. Woman cheats? She was just unhappy. He failed. The bottom line is, women get safety nets, sympathy, legal advantages, social worship, and endless help. Men don't. That is just the truth. Pretending that we're both equal is gaslighting half of the population. So wake up.
Saying, I don't date single moms, the way that women say, I don't date broke men, would that be seen as preference or prejudice?
It will be seen as prejudice by women, by some women, I imagine, but preference by men. But the answer is it's preference.
Yeah.
I feel like just because a woman has a baby, that doesn't mean it's the end for them. Like, they still have, if it didn't work out with their baby daddy, they still have a chance to find their person. I love when men take on women with babies. Like, I'm like, that's amazing.
I think it would be seen as prejudice, although I think it's fair. I think if you don't want to date someone who has a baby, whether you're a woman or a man, I think that should be your choice, and I think it's completely fair.
Why is it not seen as prejudice when women don't want to date broke men?
Brain break.
Because you don't want anyone to be leeching off of you. I think men and women should be completely equal as far as like how much they work and bring to the table. But the truth is, like, women do carry children, and if they have to be out of work for a while, then the men should be able to make up for that. So I would not date someone who's broke.
Oh, it's actually wild to watch the cognitive dissonance within real time. You cannot, within the same sentence, say that you believe in equality and also give an example of inequality within your thinking. To have a man say, I don't want to be with a single mom, and it could be for financial reasons, you gonna call him prejudice. Meanwhile, it's okay for a woman not to date a broke guy, not because of financial reasons, but because, as a woman, I have to be in a situation and I'm going to have kids. I'm going to have to, and it's a very struggle filled time. Like, it's absolutely insane to listen to them cope of why the logic doesn't apply to them.
If women had to self-improve to attract hypergamous men, would they call that oppression or accountability?
Men would call it accountability, I suppose.
Probably oppression. I would feel like I'm pressured if I had to, make sure I look like this good every day just to be with someone. I would definitely feel pressured.
It's actually insane. With that logic, you flip genders, men are currently oppressed. Interesting.
Lord, why did nobody tell me dating in your 30s is harder than dating in your 20s? The amount of men who are not emotionally available, the amount of men who are not emotionally mature, the amount of men who are still playing with their exes, the amount of men who just want to waste your time. Where are the men who are emotionally available? Where are the men who have cleared the slates with all their exes, who have an open heart, who are ready to communicate, who are ready for marriage? Where are the men of God? The men who live, serve, and worship God? Not just they go to church on Sundays, but they genuinely have a heart for God and live for God. Where are they at? It's ghetto out here. Can somebody come get me real quick? Because I don't like it.
Like, I'm confused. Y'all love to call men sassy. Y'all love to call men and this and that. This gives very much lesbian behavior to me. Women do not respect women. And this is something I've realized in my lifespan of having interpersonal relationships, and more so even just working with so many women throughout my career. For those of you who are new here, I am a certified life coach. I specialize in love and relationships, self-development, and finances, and I have been doing so for a decade. Y'all remember when Nipsey Hussle or whatever, right? And Lauren London, I think to this day, Lauren London is That's my baby. That's the man that changed it all for me. That's the man that really gave me a good scope on relationships. That's who was just gonna be till the day I die, right? And I think there was I forgot who it was it Kodak Black maybe? I don't remember who it was, but there was some entertainer who had tried to make some type of advances towards Lauren London on social media. I don't remember how it went, but y'all know, cause y'all keep up with this stuff when I do it. And there was a plethora of male entertainers that came out talking about leave her alone, Nipsey this and respect Nipsey that and so on and so forth, right? Do you know why they stood up for Lauren London? It was not predominantly because of Lauren. It was because of Nipsey, because they respected Nipsey. Men respect men, but women do not respect women as a whole. That's why you'll see that men are less likely to be side dudes as opposed to women who are more likely to be side chicks. These are statistically proven. I made a video about it. I'm not arguing with you. This is why men can go on their boys trip and come back all friends. And then when some women go on these girls trips, they come back beefing, hating each other. And sometimes, unfortunately, someone doesn't come back at all. I talk a lot about romantic relationships on this page, right? And that's because that's where my expertise is in. That's what y'all want to hear. But honestly, if you do not know how to have a good relationship with a woman, with the person that you're more than likely going to have a relationship with or multiple relationships with, you're unlikely to have a good relationship with a man, romantic relationship that is. At one point when the women were getting the BBLs and their bodies done and all this type of stuff, I would say it was for a man. Now y'all are doing it to compete with the other woman because you want to look better for the other woman. I'm confused. Y'all love to call men sassy. Y'all love to call men and this and that. This gives very much lesbian behavior to me. Y'all doing everything in competition with another woman. Y'all changing yourselves in competition with another woman. You only want to have aesthetically pleasing female friends. Let's be for real. Let's work on having better relationships with ourselves and better relationships with the people around us. And again, women are going to gravitate towards women. So focusing on having those more impactful, meaningful, genuine relationships with other females. Let's start there. Stay safe.
Men can carry responsibility without turning that into their identity. But women have a hard time separating the two. Let me give you an example. A lot of women say, I wouldn't be in my masculine energy if that man had handled his responsibilities. Now, a lot of men will hear that and they don't hear it as effort. Because men aren't offended by the work. They are confused by the framing. They are confused by this identity talk that comes up when women do their responsibilities. When men do things that are traditionally feminine, right? They just do them. So if a man starts cooking, taking care of the kids, scheduling doctor's appointments, doing the everyday things, that man is not gonna be like, doing those things made me feminine. And if ever that man started talking like that, I promise you he's not going to expect people to clap for it. Because he would expect the world to tell him, yo, get yourself together. So when men hear things like, I had to become masculine, what those men are actually hearing is, yo, pressure changed who I am. And that's the part that absolutely doesn't make sense to men. Because in their mind, how can handling responsibility cause you to see yourself differently? How does that rename you? Responsibility doesn't make you an entirely different person. It just means something needed to get done and you did it. That's it. So this really isn't about who worked harder. It's about what responsibility is allowed to mean once responsibility starts changing how somebody sees themselves.
And I'm glad that there's somebody that gets it. One woman was talking about men can carry responsibility without causing it or allowing it to change their identity. But it seems like a lot of these modern women, they can't do the same thing. Well, what do you mean? If a woman has to go take out the trash, right? Her man's out of town. Well, I took out the trash when you were out of town, or I went out and mowed the lawn, or even if she didn't mow the lawn, she had somebody else come over, but she managed the processes that you usually manage. Then all of a sudden, I'm put myself in the man's place, and now I got to be masculine because I had to take over your responsibilities. That's immaturity. Even if you wanted to say, man, I'm tired of having to take care of your responsibilities, that's just that person. That has nothing to do with masculinity. That would have something to do with this person is not a very good partner. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. That doesn't mean that you, like she said, that doesn't mean that you need to be in a masculine role, because you're not in a masculine role because you take out the garbage. You're not in a masculine role because you cut the grass. If that's what you want your man to do. You're not in a masculine role because you change the tire. If that's your car and you don't have anybody around, then you change the tire. I mean, wait, that's a survival role. You know what I mean? Like that don't have nothing to do with it being masculine. But of course, if you start doing, oh, look what I did, you know, I don't need no man. Does a man go and do the dishes and say, I don't need a woman?